Hello and welcome to Red Gaming Tech. My name is Amata. Today is the 27th of December and I'm here as always to give you a daily dose of your latest gaming news. This time I'm bringing you something a little bit different as I'm bringing you some highlights from a recent interview with the guys from the Thief development team at Eidos Montreal. Specifically speaking, Stephen Gallagher and the lead level designer Daniel Winfield Schmidt when they did a recent interview with Gaming Bolt. Now they discussed numerous things. The interview is rather large, so I'm not going to go through all of it, just what I feel the key points given my opinions and all that good stuff on it. But if you do want to give the entire interview a read, then I will link it in the description for your perusal, as I said, it is rather large. Now, the first point in the interview is actually something I want to discuss, as I've discussed it at least once before with a news video quite some time ago. As of course, we have heard and have confirmed for quite some time that the progression system in Thief is having some changes made, with the team having gotten rid of XP in favour of using gold to buy equipment. And they asked a very interesting question in terms of how would it have worked if the XP system would have remained in place. And Daniel Winfield Schmidt, who again is the level designer, said, quote, "We decided to put more emphasis on stealing and looting. That is what the game is about, after all. We decided against having the XP system for a few reasons. We think experience is strong enough without it. This also tallied with some feedback we received from the community, and they reacted well to the news we were removing it, so we're glad we decided on that route." So Eidos are definitely keeping their ear to the ground on this one. They've made a couple of changes basically based on feedback and all that good stuff a few times now, the progression system being one of them. And I'm definitely glad to hear it. Gaining XP and all that, well, you know, not every game needs RPG elements. You know, it's perfectly fine just to completely make your way through the world on the back of your skills. If you can steal a lot of gold, you'll get a lot of abilities. If not, well, you might have a few problems. I think that's a really nice way of rewarding skill and exploration, as well as taking on any side quests and that sort of thing. Now, one of the things they did discuss as well is the fact that the PC version and the PS4 versions are, of course, both confirmed. It's going to be on both next gen and PS4 and Xbox One, and they asked, how does the PC version look in comparison? And did the more PC-like architecture of the PS4 and Xbox One make development on them easier? And Daniel said again, quote, "The PC version is hugely important to us. This is the platform that the series originated on. In a similar vein to Deus Ex Human Revolution, we are taking this platform really seriously. We're really pleased with how the game looks and feels on all platforms, and PC, PS4 and Xbox all look great. The architecture of the new machines really helped us fulfill our vision too, for sure." And they were asked a very, very important question in regards to the different versions, and I'm sure many of you are wanting to know the answers to this, and that was, is the development team aiming at 1080p resolution on both next-gen consoles? Now, Thief will be capped at 30 frames per second, but they were also asked, do you think that next-gen console owners can expect any improvements in frame rates? Will there be variable frame rates or anything like that? And Daniel said, quote, "It's not too early to talk about specifics on this just yet, although the team are pushing to have the highest resolution and frame rates as possible for all platforms." So, as you might expect, a bit of a PR politicians answer. They're not really answering anything at all, but I suppose it's to be expected. If it's still in development, they're still trying to optimize their game for the system. Well, they don't want to reveal just yet what the frame rate or resolution is for either version as well, because they might not be able to keep up to the promise, or they might actually exceed their own expectations. Now, it would be nice to see 1080p 60 on both, but it's more likely that we'll see 1080p 30 on both, and that would be okay. But I'm really hoping to see, as we get further into this console generation, as people get used to the technology of the machines and that sort of thing, that we'll see more games running at 1080p 60 than we are currently. Of course, this technology is very new, and it does take developers a while to get their hands on and things and get their grubby mitts and figure out how the machine actually works and what makes it tick. Now, they did talk a little bit about the Xbox One version, and of course the Xbox One only capabilities such as features of cloud computing, Kinect, or the smart glass, and they also touched on the topic a little bit of anything that would be specific to the PS4, such as the DualShock 4 controller and the touchpad. And Stephen Gallagher said, quote, "The PS4 touchpad is used to quickly select items from inventory and switch arrowheads. It's really intuitive and people that have played it really like it. We also have the light on the front of the pad changing colour to indicate when you step out into the light. It flashes white when you step into the light and goes dark blue when you're in shadow. It's subtle, but when you're playing in a darkened room, it's really cool because it helps you know when you're in danger." And I have to say that does sound like a rather interesting use of the DualShock 4 light bar. And if you are indeed playing in a darkened room, or even if just a normal room, perhaps just with the lights on or whatever, that would help you quite a bit, especially if you can just kind of see it in the bottom of your peripheral vision. It would say, oh, okay, the light's changing, I'm visible, I better hide. That may be present on the AI, but it'd be kind of cool if it wasn't and you had to kind of rely on that. But of course, what you can do with the Xbox One version, well, you'd have to of course have the UI for that, but maybe they'll figure out some other way of doing it with Xbox One specific features. Now, they didn't obviously really discuss any Xbox One specific things. I don't see Kinect or anything like that playing any real part in the Thief reboot. Perhaps cloud computing rather, or smart glass, but Kinect doesn't really seem all that likely for some reason. Now, there is just a couple of more points that I want to discuss from this interview, and one is regarding the single player and any unlockable skills. Will they be having any skill system in the game, and what kind of skills will be available, if any, and how will the player have to unlock them? And Daniel said, quote, "Upgrades to your skill set and tools can be brought from black market dealers in the City Hub area. We have a range of different things for the player to purchase, new tools such as a ratchet to access new areas, a scalpel to steal paintings quickly, and wire cutters to disable traps and open new areas. Garrett's skills can also be upgraded to heighten his thieving abilities, increase the damage he can do, increase the strength of his armor, and so on." So, pretty standard upgrades from the sound of it, but the real question that I don't know if they're going to be able to answer, it doesn't look like they do, but I still want to go through it with you guys because it might give you a rough idea of what to expect. They were asked, well, how long does a single player story actually last? And Stephen had this to say, quote, "With regards to the single-player campaign, there is no correct answer to this because your playstyle defines how quickly you will go through the game. I've seen more aggressive players, even aggressive stealth players, who can go through the game quite quickly because it's their part of their playstyle, i.e. how quickly can I get through this room without being spotted, how quickly can I take everyone out, etc. And then there is a type of other players who want to see and hear everything. They're going to keep stopping and hear conversations, look through keyholes, open windows, and explore the levels fully. These players are going to be playing for a long time because there is stuff hidden all over the place. There is such a broad answer as there is no answer. It's very much down to you and your playstyle. The player has also access to a huge city hub area where there are additional non-critical jobs and side quests." So again, he gave a little bit of a politician's answer there. Didn't really answer the question, but his comments are fair enough to be honest. You know, it does really depend on your playstyle, especially with a game like this. If you just blast through all the rooms without searching for any secrets, then of course you're going to finish the game quicker than someone like me, for instance, who would like to explore, find any secrets, listen to any conversations, find all the treasures and things like that. I'm not a completionist, but I do like my exploration, and it sounds like they're definitely going to have a lot of that. So there you go. Those are the highlights from that particular interview with Gaming Bolt and of course the guys from Eidos Montreal. The link is in the description if you want to give the full thing a read. I suggest you do if you're interested in this game's development, as it's a rather interesting read. Anyway, that is me done for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.